Hey, everybody. Quick video today. We have a clip from a morning open I did a couple days ago with Sachin, who is an OG of the Palantir community. Some people that are new to the community probably don't know him. He's not that active on YouTube, but he was with us at $6, $7, $8 when Palantir was in the gutter back in 2022, trying to figure out if this thesis made any sense. And he was a frequent guest on Palantir Weekly pretty much for a good, I would say, at least 20 weeks. And so he's been there for a very long time. Now, Sachin, what's unique about his story, and that's why I want to kind of highlight this segment, is that he went all in on Palantir. In his United States accounts, he lives in Malaysia, so he has multiple accounts. But in the United States, he went all in, and he went all in on margin when Palantir was $8. So he's been part of this journey for a long time. He's believed in Palantir for a long time. He was one of the first people to really say Palantir is differentiated in terms of their go-to-market and their actual technology mode from a company like a Snowflake. And it's just kind of exciting to hear from some of the OGs that have been part of this community and been part of this journey, and what they're thinking about in terms of the elevated valuation and levels that Palantir is trading at right now. Why is it given? How's the market perceiving it? And so I think there's a lot of good insights here. So for those that don't know Sachin, his Twitter is in the description. You can definitely follow him there. He has great insights on investing in general, but he has been part of the Palantir community for a long time, loaded up very heavily when it was $8. Here's his take on Palantir now at 100. I think we'll start off with this. You went all in on Palantir when it was $8. You really, held your money to your conviction. The stock's at 80. Just what are your thoughts on this journey, what it's been like, and our stock's at 100 now? Do you think 100 is justified? Does it make sense that we're here right now?
And whether 100 is justified or not, I think it is market to decide, and market is justifying it. I think there are few things people are missing, and this is what has led a lot of people to miss in general about Palantir. Is a lot of people are just stuck in this valuation lens. And people are saying valuation is high. When it was 25, people said valuation is high. When it was 40, they said high. It is 60 high. But I think the lesson here is, if valuation is high, then why it is getting higher?
Right.
Okay. And that is what people are missing in general, because they say, okay, if I support Palantir today, they say, oh, are you going to buy it here? I'm not going to buy it here. My risk reward is very different from buying it at $8 versus buying it at $100 today. I mean, it's an entirely different thing. Okay, people say, oh, in order to justify its valuation, it has to go to 30. Man, we saw Palantir going from 45 to $6. So can a stock crash 87, 90%? Of course, a stock can crash 87, 90%, but it will not crash entirely under its own gravity. The whole market has to collapse in order to support it. If Palantir goes from 100 to $30, main broad market and peers will also drop 50 to 60 and 80%. Okay, so yeah, so when somebody say that a particular valuation is wrong, okay, you have to put the context right. If a valuation is wrong, that whole market will go up and Palantir will go down, then give us the logic. Okay, what's the logic is going to be? So Palantir is expensive. There is no doubt about it. There is no hiding from the fact. Whichever metric you look at, Palantir is performing better than any peers at this particular point. That is also true. Palantir is strategically positioned better than any other enterprise SaaS in the time of AI. That is also true. How market will judge it, it's up to market. I think the one thing which has pushed Palantir this high is that the institutional ownership in Palantir was very low.
Yeah.
And despite whatever anybody says, they say, oh, institutional money is smart money. Institutional money is not smart money. Institutional money is dumb money. Okay, once the certain criteria are met, all institutions go like headless chicken behind it. And that is what has happened. And everybody wants a piece of Palantir now. And that has created a lot of buying pressure on it. I mean, this is true. Institutional money is dumb money. I'll be honest with that.
Well, why are they? So people say retail is dumb, institutional are smart.
No. I think no. Actually, institutional, because when you talk about institution, you're talking about pension funds. See, first, they cannot buy on their own. They need to buy with a committee. They need to buy when certain analysts put it certain rating. When 25 analysts and 25 fund managers will tell them, hedge fund money is the smart money, actually. Okay, so a lot of time institutions are the last one in the line to buy, especially the one which are not actively trading. Okay, because they want every parameter to be tested, but by the time every parameter is tested, the stock is $80, $90.
Right.
Okay, and again, people who are buying at institution, they are under their fiduciary duty. They're not under the duty of creating return. Their duty is to meet the criteria of investment.
So Sachin, let me ask you this. There are people, I know you've seen this on FinTwit, and I'm sure there's people in the chat that say, all right, Sachin, we get it. You're bullish. We understand you're giving Palantir a premium. However, Palantir's valuation is more than McDonald's, American Express. It's the 50th largest company in the world. I mean, how do you respond to being able to say, I will still hold this stock knowing it is trading at levels that I don't think we've ever seen in this market before?
See, for me, it's very simple. I mean, if you have a position, it's a lot of gain. I mean, you can always hedge somewhat. Okay, you can send covered calls and all. I mean, of course, I'm not going to let all these gains go. Okay, that thing is very... The thing is, the logic which I'm not buying is they are saying because it is expensive, so there is no further gains left. You see, this is the same argument people made when it was 40.
Yep.
If you remember when Chris Camillo, bought at 36, people said you are late to the party.
Yep.
When it was 62, people said it is astronomically high. So the thing is, the logic people are getting, that market is proving that logic wrong. Okay, so let me explain something, and this is what people need to understand is, see, if you go back to 2020 and 2019, Tesla was astronomically high. Okay, everybody was shorting Tesla, like especially on the main street. I mean, all these Spiegel guy and Einhorn and all that. What happened with Tesla? Tesla keep going up. Did Tesla came down? Tesla came down later, but something else happened before that, and that is the sign we need to look. At some point, market got so much in FOMO because of Tesla that they were so desperately looking another Tesla. And at that particular time, companies like Nikola, Neo, Xpeng, Lucid, they came and they actually got valuation which were even crazier than Tesla.
Yeah.
Okay, and that pushed the market to a stratospherical level where everything was irrational. Okay, so there is a point that will come in Palantir journey where people will just say, okay, when I really don't know what is happening, but I need to buy something. And I cannot buy Palantir in good faith, I need to buy something. This will happen. This is human psychology. And then you see all these kind of tier 2, tier 3 stocks that we talk about, Snowflake, UiPath, Datadog. Some of these stocks will eventually getting valuations which are going to be even higher at one point. Okay, and when you will see that market still has not started discounting bad news. If you deliver bad news, market is punishing you. Okay, market is rewarding Palantir in an asymmetric way because they think, okay, whatever they are doing, they're doing it right, and they are well positioned to capture the AI upside from the enterprise. See, every company you talk about, if Microsoft is saying that we are going to invest 80 billion in capex, then somewhere Microsoft knows, like if I invest 80 billion here, then this 80 billion will result in 240, 280 billion in revenue somewhere. So somebody given them 280 billion in revenue as a whole, that means industry as a whole has to produce 5 to 6 trillion. Na?
Yeah.
So that 5 to 6 trillion is not only hyperscalers to money. Na? It's the software suite that is extracting out. So when you start stacking this thing, I think one thing people forget what Chris Camillo said, that Palantir only had like 50 customers when he came in. What will happen if Palantir has 5,000 customers?
Yeah.
Okay. Also see in terms of operating leverage, okay, this is what people are looking in general, that okay, that this company, if stars align, can be really big and it can actually sustain this valuation if the market forces stay favorable. Okay, now let's say that, so following things can happen. That Palantir at some point get a self-check, its performance is actually improving, its revenues are actually improving, it might go sideways, some decline, but eventually the performance catches up. What will be, the ink will be on the faces of beer. Okay, I mean, you remember there was this guy, was the beer cave guy. I mean, Palantir was $15 and he came up with a short report. And I know actually the guy he talked to also, his name is Indiji. He was a disgruntled employee from Palantir. He said something and based on that, he kind of worked out some report. When you are a short seller, $15, you say that short the company, the stock is 105. I mean, you have one job to identify bad performing company and you can't do it well. So see, as an investor, our job is not to justify Palantir or justify any other company. Our job is to understand how market works so that we can make money out of it.
What do you? Okay. So Dan Ives said yesterday he sees 1 trillion in 4 years. Is that a bit ridiculous, or do you think that's possible too?
See, what Dan Ives says and why Dan Ives says. Okay, so why Dan Ives says is somewhat beyond me. Okay, he comes up with things, and the kind of things he says is they're playing games of 3D chess versus checkers. And at the end of the day, this is all BS. Okay, I mean, you can say tons of smart things. You need to explain things. Whether it is 1 trillion is possible, yes, 1 trillion is possible. The company is already 230 billion. So tomorrow, like we know already what is happening in Doge, Palantir software being used there.
Yeah.
So you need to understand what is happening on ground. When the Democrats, the USA, I mean, all these things are saying that how big the political shift is. You saw that how strongly Shah and his team has lobbied against the existing defense that we need to introduce AI more in defense in general. Do you think, I mean, like these are big things. If Trump decides that they are going to build or they are going to invest 100 billion in AI-driven weapon systems and all that, that means there is 3-4 billion for software. Which software? It's only hyperscalers and Palantir. There is no one else. There is no one else. There is no software on the street about which a CEO comes and says that we used Palantir and it created $1 billion value for us. There is no software.
Yeah, you're right.
I have seen it. I mean, I was there when I was leading data and digital strategy. I have talked to Palantir guys. I've talked to other people. There is no one. So
Sachin, let me ask you this. You've been following CARP as well for a long time. A lot of people have been critiquing. Yesterday, I read some reports that people were critiquing CARP's message to retail investors and him cursing and banging on the table. I mean, what is your interpretation of CARP as a leader over the past couple of years?
I think CARP has been. CARP is CARP, first thing. Okay, I mean, I think Main Street and the corporate echelon, it's a club. They want everyone to behave like them. If you don't behave like us, you remember how Jim Cramer used to speak about CARP. Now CARP doesn't talk to him, and Jim Cramer keeps saying, "Please talk to me, please talk to me." So first thing is CARP is original. He doesn't care about optics. Okay, he's passionate. He realized that when they were in trenches, there was a retail community. So he doesn't love retail community like, okay, because they're buying their stuff. Let me be very clear on that part. He loves retail community because he realized that retail community has done a very good job in explaining what Palantir is.
I want to double down on this. You're saying he doesn't love retail because he's using them as liquidity because it can pump the stock. He loves retail because they actually studied the business when it was $6 when all the other analysts were studying Snowflake.
Yeah, that's the reality.
It is quite special. It is really quite special to see what they've been able to do. Go ahead.
They were in a position where everybody was going against them. Democrats was against them. Open Society and all these guardians were pumping articles against them. And I mean, so much bad blood. You were talking about analysts. Do you remember what analysts used to say? Oh, I mean, we will prefer Snowflake over it. I mean, why would you prefer Snowflake? Snowflake is a different product. Palantir is a different product. You don't know about the product. I mean, I tell you, there are very smart people I follow, and they literally had no clue. I mean, yesterday I was having this tweet conversation with Brian. I mean, I remember I was watching the video of Brian, and Brian was saying he doesn't want to buy Palantir. He wants to buy some other software which provides a SaaS product to the prison system. I said, man, this is whole different things we are talking. He said, you want defense exposure, you buy the software. I said, no, this is not. That tells me that people fail to understand what the product is. See, as a fan to it, I know that a lot of people are disgruntled about it, that they miss Palantir and they are saying, they keep saying, see, you can say 20 times a day that valuation is astronomical. So what? Okay, in consulting, like this is one of the most important questions that, so what? I mean, if it is high, the question is you need to go back and understand why it is high.
So
it goes from here.
Do you think Palantir, so I see the similarity coming up as well, and this will be the last question on Palantir, then we'll move on. Do you think Tesla 2021, when it pumped to 400 and then came all the way back to 100, do you think there's a chance Palantir is in that stage where it's just being overhyped to that level? Or do you think the street missed the story, and even if it goes back to 60, they're just going to be happy to get back into the story?
Actually, Tesla is not the right analogy for Palantir. I'll give you the right analogy for Palantir. The right analogy for Palantir is the Netscape movement. When Netscape came and they were the first browser, and suddenly the rise of Netscape was, I mean, people who have lived through 94, 96 and people can go back. I mean, it was amazing. I mean, companies like Microsoft and companies like Apple, they didn't see it coming. The only problem in the Netscape was that the barriers of entry was low. At the end of the day, replicating the product was simple. So if you ask me, like, what is the movement that Palantir is having? Palantir is having a Netscape movement, but with a product that has an entry barriers as high as Windows. And that's their strength.